Hey folks, Lemonade here, and today we're taking a small detour with the channel into the world of IEMs. What the hype is about, which one of these budget picks is the best choice for gaming and all around, and we'll get into it right after this. Hey folks, I just forgot to say, if you end up liking this video, don't forget to like and sub at some point down below. It does help the channel out a lot. Thanks. Okay folks, so I decided to start my IEM journey with these three choices. We have the Final VR 3000, the Truth-Ear Critical Zero Collab, and the TRN TA1 Max. Let's knock out some of the specs here. So the Final Audio comes with a 6mm dynamic driver, a non-removable cable, and a microphone. Goes for $79.99 retail. The TRN TA1 Max has a 10mm dynamic driver in it, plus a balanced armature driver. It's a dual driver setup, has an upgradable cable, and it retails for $49.99. And the Truth-Ear Critical Zero has a 10mm dynamic driver and an additional 7.8mm dynamic driver, again dual driver setup, upgradable cable, and it goes for $49.99. Each one of these comes with a series of ear tips, and I found a solid fit on all of them, so you should not have a problem there. Of course, there are third-party ear tip options available for each if you want to go that route too. Now, as you saw there on the spec breakdown, you can see there's a wide range in driver choice, and that's completely different, but it was important for me to try that to get a sense of what some of the differences were with IEMs, which we'll talk about in a bit. Now, the design on these are all stunning in their own right, just depends on personal preference. There is only one color or design variation for each. There's no multiple colors on any of these. The TRN over here has this nice metal silver look with the side cutouts, as you can see there. The Truth-Ear has a very satisfying kind of a shimmery blue-purple galaxy, as you can see here, depending on how the light hits it. And as you can see, the Final Audio has just a kind of an understated matte black look. Now, in terms of packaging, the Final Audio ones were the most basic, just a plastic tray and a fleece bag for travel. Nothing particularly special there. The TRN and the Truth-Ear were a big step up. As you can see here on the TRN has this nice magnetic box with a metal carrying case with everything inside of it there, and the earbuds displayed really nicely in this kind of nice dense foam. And as you can see here on the Truth-Ear has this anime artwork on it, take it or leave it, just the style that they went for. And if you get into the chi-fi hi-fi space, you'll notice it's kind of a common theme inside. There's the ear tips all displayed rather elegantly underneath this leather style carrying pouch. Now, packaging isn't the most important thing, but if the attention to detail is good here, it usually shines over to the product itself. So on that note, speaking on the cables, the Truth-Ear has a shielded cable and is the thickest, followed by a slightly thinner one on the TRN over here, and then the Final Audio just has a generic rubber cable. I did find the TRN to be the most tangle-proof for me of the three, which is a nice bonus. That is something of a negative with IEMs versus regular headphones. You have to deal with the cable and the ear hooks sometimes tangling at times. And if you're a streamer, that can be annoying. For example, you come back from a bathroom break and you kind of got to fiddle with them to get them ready to use. Even after weeks of using IEMs, it can take a few seconds more over headphones to adjust them correctly to get a good seal. Headphones, you can just, plop them on your head and go. Okay, so overall comfort is obviously pretty subjective as everyone's ears are a bit different. If I had to rank these though, the TRN were by far the most comfortable for me. They were light and just easy to hook over my ears each time, no fiddling around. The Truth-Ear were next, but the hook always gave me a little bit of trouble to get on quickly. And the Final Audio with its stock rubber cable were the most annoying to put on of the three, plus their hook design just didn't feel well thought out. It's kind of a clip-on style, tends to kind of get loose at times here because it's not like part of the wire itself. I will add, and this is very important, if you've never used earbuds or maybe you just don't use them very often like myself, there is an adjustment period. It'll feel kind of annoying and bothersome to wear any of these for long gaming sessions because of the pressure on your ear canal that you normally never had with like headphones, for example. I would say if you're getting into these to try for the first time, just give yourself a solid 3 to 5 days and push through the discomfort, and then your ears will adapt. For example, for me, it just feels natural now. On the flip side, headphones can also be a bit annoying to find a good comfortable pair. Sometimes you have ones with higher clamping force as they hold onto the side of your head a bit harder. Some of them have pads that get too hot around your ears, or they're just not thick enough, etc., etc. Anyway, just give yourself a good few days before deciding. Let yourself adapt to these first. Okay, let's get into the meat of this video, the sound, and is there a difference versus headphones? First off, let's talk headphones. I would say that if you're looking at headphones from the $50 to $100 range, you will find that IEMs punch well above them generally, as the sound is just more intimate with IEMs as they're closer to your eardrums, and generally you'll find multiple drivers on IEMs that makes the sound just feel a little bit more robust, and picking up finer details is a tad easier. Now I'm comparing these to my Philips SPH 9500s here, which are regarded as some of the best sub $100 headphones, usually going for about $60 to $70. They aren't considered a gaming headset, but that's a good thing because you can tell how much better they are as they're more audio focused first. That all said, I assume that most people watching this are probably going to be coming from a traditional gaming headset like a Razer or Turtle Beach. I also wanted to add that I tested all these on a few different USB DAC amp combos, as that is a step above your traditional motherboard audio. I'm doing a separate video on the DAC amp combos, so just keep an eye out for that. So on to the sound quality. Let's do kind of a quick ranking and then I'll get into some finer details. First goes the TRN, then the Critical Zeros, and then lastly the VR 3000s in third place. I want to get the final audio ones out of the way quickly. They had a good soundstage and imaging, but at the cost of any significant bass or fun, I can't recommend them. They can be nice in game, but for general purpose, music, videos, they're just not it. In the end, I want my audio gear to do it all very well, not just one particular thing. At this point, I will be taking the final audios off my desk for its price point of $80, a good $30 more expensive than these. Build quality, packaging, and just overall sound quality and sound clarity, I just can't recommend these. So now to the CRM. It was the first time I've experienced a balanced armature driver, and it is really what set this above the rest. Now, balanced armatures are generally used to focus on the mids and the highs, and that's the case here, more specifically highs. So think vocals, bells, whistles, those kind of sounds. At first, it can be a lot to take in, especially if the volume is too high, since the balanced armature can really be quite forward on the highs. You will have to play with your audio levels to get these just right, but once you do, wow, because the crispness is super refreshing, almost like unlocking another layer to the sound. The bass is still there because of that dynamic driver, and it provides a nice low rumble, but it's not as heavy as the Truth Ears. The Truth Ears have a more toned down mid and high range because of that dual dynamic setup instead of a dynamic plus balanced armature. For example, gunshots are a little bit more thick sounding than sharp sounding. But how does that all boil down to in-game? So for me, the TRN swings a little bit harder by helping out with those high notes. I feel like subtle taps on surfaces like metal, voice lines, healing, etc., just kind of comes out clearer. The zeros definitely aren't bad, they just feel a little bit more one layered in comparison. Now on to imaging and soundstage. So let me break those two words down real quick. So soundstage is essentially how wide and open the source can feel, the audio source can feel, versus something that's more closed off or muffled or kind of closer to your ears. And imaging is how pinpoint or accurate it separates certain sounds within that soundstage. So for both of these, again, I have to give it to the TRN. It has a semi-open back design, so these cutouts on the side are actually letting in a little bit of breathing room overall. Not only does it feel more comfortable as you get less internal ear pressure because of that semi-open design, but it does open the soundstage up just a bit more. For example, in Valorant, you get better direction of footsteps and more subtle transitions of each individual step. Lastly is how do they feel in general purpose use? And I say they're both great. Music, videos, podcasts all sound great, but again, for me, the edge goes back to the TRN for elevating vocals to a higher level. Just sounds more engaging to me. For a deeper bass presence though, the Critical Zeros are a better fit. My overall winner, of course, is going to be the TRN TA1 Max for its easier fit, better imaging and staging, and elevation of vocals and highs. This felt like the most unique experience when diving into IEMs, but I will say the sound of the balance armature and how it handles certain high notes can be a lot to take in. Take the time to dial these in because you can easily get into things sounding too high-pitched in areas with certain treble notes. If you want to play it safe though, the Critical Zero is closer to what you'll find in most earbuds and headphones you've listened to, because generally those don't include a balanced armature in them, something like your gaming headsets or your Apple AirPods, but these are well above those in quality. So, question is, am I going to stick with IEMs over headphones? And I thought about this a lot, kind of going back and forth on yes I will, no I won't, so it's kind of a bit of both. I like my headphones for the ease of use, and since they're truly open back, I can hear my surroundings better. So for example, if my wife or my son are talking, I can pick that up a bit easier. On the flip side, after testing the IEMs, they do make me feel more locked in to whatever I'm doing, gaming or otherwise, and the level of detail is a step above. And on that note, all my socials are down below, along with any affiliate links and discount codes. If you had a good time with me today, likes and subs are always appreciated. Leave a comment down below, let me know your thoughts. But until the next Fresh Squeeze video, stay thirsty, folks.